Reflection 4. When the metaphor found me. I wasn't looking for a metaphor. I wasn't trying to explain what I had been doing in any unified way. If anything, I was content letting the pieces remain adjacent rather than integrated. They worked well enough. Life felt more navigable. That seemed sufficient. Then the metaphor arrived fully formed. Not as an idea to develop, but as something recognized. It came through the MoneyWise macro framework, in a passage about operating systems and the electrical grid. The words were technical, almost clinical, and yet they wouldn't let go of me. An operating system does not create capability. It allocates resources. It manages contention. It prioritizes workloads. It prevents failure. As I read it, something clicked, not intellectually, but structurally. I wasn't borrowing the metaphor. I was seeing myself inside it. I realized that much of what I had been doing for years had nothing to do with acquiring better ideas. It had everything to do with deciding what gets power, what gets time, what gets attention, what gets to run simultaneously, and what must wait. The guideposts weren't virtues. They were schedulers. The manuscripts weren't explorations. They were subsystems. The boundaries I'd learned to keep weren't limits. They were safeguards. Peace of mind suddenly made sense in a new way. It wasn't an emotional state I needed to achieve. It wasn't calm I needed to summon. It was what emerged when demands no longer exceeded capacity, when contention was resolved upstream, when the system stopped being asked to do the impossible. That realization reframed everything. I saw how often suffering came not from hardship itself, but from overload, from too many competing claims on a finite inner grid. Too many unresolved priorities. Too many obligations treated as equal. Too much power allocated to things that could never return it. And I saw that the work I had been doing, quietly, imperfectly, was architectural. I hadn't been trying to live better. I had been trying to live within capacity. The metaphor didn't flatter me. It sobered me. It clarified the responsibility of being both architect and gatekeeper of an inner system that determines what is possible at all. What grows? What stalls? What quietly fails? From that moment on, I could no longer pretend I was merely collecting insights or writing reflections. I was maintaining infrastructure. And infrastructure, unlike inspiration, does not tolerate neglect. The metaphor didn't change the work. It named it. And once named, it became easier to honor. Not as an achievement, but as an ongoing obligation. To schedule reality in a way that allows life to keep running without breaking.